Hey friends, welcome to the Health Simple Show. I'm your host, Kyle Reedhead, and I interview health and wellness experts from around the world to help you live healthy, happy, and stress-free. Now don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and if you have any questions about anything we talk about throughout this episode, just comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Enjoy the show. All right, welcome everybody to the next episode of the Health Simple Show. I think we're at episode 28 now. Today we're joined by Ryan Carter, who joins us from London, England. I think you're the first guest we've had from across the pond, I'm pretty sure. But he's just for anyone who doesn't know, he's a personal trainer, an online health coach, and currently studying nutritional therapy. Ryan Carter is the man behind the popular Instagram account called Live Vitae. Is that how you pronounce it?
Live Vitae, but yeah, that goes as well. It means the same thing. Live Vitae.
Okay, what does that mean, by the way?
So it means live life in Greek or Latin.
Okay.
So it's all about living life to your full potential, essentially.
Cool, awesome. And if you guys haven't seen it, go check it out. It's at Live Vitae, I believe. He's got, I don't know, close to like 200,000 followers on there. But he uses this platform to empower and inspire his audience to improve their health by, using food as medicine, sharing biohacking techniques that he does on a daily basis, and even looking at improving mindset, spirituality, a really holistic approach. So it's really cool, really interesting, and really informative. So, thanks for putting out all that information on a daily basis for us.
Thank you, Carl. You're welcome.
Yeah. So just wondering, when did you start your Instagram account and what kind of gave you the idea to do that?
I started my Instagram account around about 2.5 years ago.
Okay.
I've actually always been against social media as such. I don't really have Facebook, so Instagram's like the only thing I use. And I started 2.5 years ago. Two friends of mine, they had pages, and they came around to my house to have some food. They knew I cooked a lot and knew about recipes, nutrition. They said, "Oh, you should get onto Instagram. Show everyone your recipes and food, you'll do well," and stuff like that. And that's how it started, basically. And so it's just putting up food, some holistic health, like infographics and stuff like that. And then over a few months, followers came in, and then obviously my style has evolved, and my content, my knowledge, my journey has grown. So that reflects the page and the content I push out. And it's basically it represents me. It's a visualization board of me. So I practice what I preach, and the stories that I put out is what I do day to day. The posts are just the reflection of my approach to food, to lifestyle. I put more content into just a personal page. So there's hardly any pictures of me, just because I want to push the food, and it's more important than just showing a picture of me in a gym or that has no meaning. So every post that I do has a meaning, has a value, what adds value into people's lives. And that's the passion, and that's the thing that I really want to get across on my page, is adding value to people's lives through health and just improving them.
Yeah, and taking the education side rather than making it kind of about yourself. So your buddies that gave you the idea, do they have their own pages now too, or are they looking like, dang, this guy really blew up?
Well, not really. One's a good friend of mine. He's just a personal trainer. He doesn't use Instagram for his business or anything like that. Yeah. And my other friend, she now lives in Australia, and she doesn't use Instagram either. They didn't really evolve the page. They just told me to get out there into the Instagram world. And I mean, I've enjoyed it, although it is sort of, I treat it like use it, don't abuse it. I mean, it's a great tool, but there's some you could just spend hours on there, and that's not what Instagram should be about. You should just go in, get out, do your thing. And I implement some social media fasting. I try not to go on there in the morning. I find it just disrupts my day, my thinking. obviously it's going to affect my neurotransmitters, my dopamine, everything. So I try to avoid it and get the most important tasks out the way. Then I'll go on, say in the afternoon. And also in the evening, having a curfew after 9 o'clock stimulates my brain. Obviously, then you've got the lights as well that you need to factor in. And yeah, I just try use it, don't abuse it, and yeah, that's it really.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's become such a widespread problem. I mean, everyone is on it. I try to keep an eye out for it. I'll be walking around through the grocery store and you see people online and everyone's just scrolling. You know, everywhere you go, you just see people scrolling at all times. It's pretty crazy.
Well, I think I saw someone quote the other day on Instagram, and it was like, scrolling is the new smoking.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I know what you mean. Like you scroll, but I'm very specific in like the people who I follow, the information that comes inside me. So I think even having like, set yourself a timer, maybe just say, instead of just like walking about and scrolling, just actually sit down, like do your scrolling, but like have a timer on for 5-10 minutes and just go through everything, and then like that's it. Instead of just like not being present when you're in the shopping aisle or when you're on the beach or when you're like walking down the road. Like I drive a scooter in London, and it's amazing the amount of people that just pull out and like jump out in the middle of the road on their phone, and like they're obviously scrolling or doing something. And I'm nearly hitting these people, and it's pretty scary. Yeah, but it's the same thing. It's very addictive. So it's just very like, you just need to be mindful about what you're consuming. Yeah. And that goes thing with food, what you're consuming with your food, what you're consuming with social media, with everything.
Yeah. Oh, I completely agree. Now listen, you've obviously, I mean, when you look at your account, we see all the knowledge that you have and that you share with others. How did you get into all this? What kind of started your, I guess, health journey, as you called it earlier? What got you into that?
My own journey, I've always been into fitness. Exercise. I used to do soccer, as you call it out there. I wasn't never going to be a professional or anything like that, but I was pretty good. And then I started living by myself. I moved out home, lived by myself, joined a gym, and then I created an addiction to exercise. So I just was on the cardio machines, and I had a set goal of burning 1,000 calories a day. I didn't know much about nutrition, and I was under the belief that, oh yeah, carbs are great, eat loads of carbs, performance, not even considering protein, fats, anything like that. And then I just formed an eating disorder basically, and that was me for about a year until I turned around 55 kilos. And I'm about 180 centimeters, 175 centimeters. Okay. So that's pretty light. So I was anorexic, and everything exploded, the mental side of things, and then just had an awakening as such. Luckily, I found a personal trainer at my local gym, and he guided me, pointed me in the right directions, taught me about exercising. Like he was actually Brazilian, so he knew a lot about like the American trend of food, and he knew about paleo, bulletproof. Nice. So he put me into that direction, and then basically it was just me learning, reading, listening to podcasts, and just like developing my knowledge basically. And that was it from there. So gradually increased my weights, got a good relationship with food. And then obviously I enjoy doing bodybuilding, and then the whole like the bro science thing of eating loads of protein at every meal, and that led me to the joys of eating bluefin tuna. And I don't know if you know, but like bluefin tuna is very high in mercury. Yeah. So then I was eating a lot. I'd say probably about 1 kilo a week of bluefin tuna. Wow. And obviously over time that adds up, and obviously that's a burden to many systems of the body, and became mercury toxic. When you're mercury toxic, that leads into like digestive issues. It leads into like there'd be candida there, parasites potentially, endocrine disruption, mitochondrial dysfunction, everything basically. And it's an invaluable lesson which like it's come around full circle for me to understand how to move mercury out of my body and all the other systems which I'm learning in my nutritional therapy course.
Yeah. What kind of symptoms did you have, or like what made you notice that you had mercury poisoning?
Feeling drunk. I had like severe food intolerances and
Oh, wow.
sensitivities.
So you had it pretty bad.
Constant brain fog. My memory was very, very poor. Low libido. Just feeling very weak. My immune system was pretty run down as well.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't, and also I was dieting at the time. Well, not dieting. I was like on I was on a deficit, and I was trying to get shredded as such. And that final 20% or like 10% to get lean, my body was just not happy to get in.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when I was going, oh, what's going on here? There's something wrong. And obviously thyroid and stuff like that, which is obviously going to be a mercury issue. It made me dig into that section. And then obviously I had like histamine issues as well. Then I think I stumbled across Chris Kresser article, and he talked about histamines and the DAO enzyme, and that's linked to low histamines, histamine intolerance. And then I found something about mercury, and then that made me like find everything I knew about, like find stuff about mercury, and that is how I figured things out. Yeah. Finding the root cause, which is all about functional medicine, finding the root cause, not treating the symptom.
So what kind of things was it then diet that you started to change to kind of reverse all that?
Not really, because from discovering food, from like food sensitivities, intolerances and stuff like that. So my food naturally evolved and got like whole food, real food, like limited grains, good sources of everything, plenty of plants. Mm-hmm. So that's never needed to be adjusted. It's just removing like just fine tuning like the toxic ingredients, the suspect ingredients that my body just doesn't know how to process and utilize. Yeah. Looking at the quality of meat, especially, and fat. Looking at organic produce, going to the farmer's market and things like that.
Yeah, cool.
So just fine tuning, and obviously removing like mercury stuff like tuna.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Luckily, I used to eat a lot of tuna back when I was younger as well, but not enough. I thought I had mercury poisoning at once because I had like this rash. I went to the doctor and she kind of laughed me out of the office and said you'd have to eat a lot more than what I was. So I guess I didn't.
But obviously there's different kinds of tuna as well. So bluefin is like notoriously high for mercury. Canned tuna, like yellowfin, it's a little bit lower. Okay. And obviously there's like different factors. You've got genetics, which obviously like loads the gun. And then like your epigenetics is what pulls the trigger basically. Mm-hmm. So I have like genetic mutations in my genes. So my NTFHR, which means I can't methylate as well as like 3/4 of the population. So that's just also to be mindful of.
Did you have a genetic test to find that?
Yeah, so that's done by 23andMe, and a nutritionist who I work with, he like formulated a program for me, and I just like fine tuned it and tweaked it for me.
Nice. Now you're at a point, I think, in your health journey where it's no longer about trying to fix issues. It's more trying to optimize and kind of enhance, your abilities, it seems anyway, from what I see on your Instagram and all the different things you do. So you've gotten really big into kind of biohacking and trying to excel, your health, I guess. So what are some of your favorite biohacking techniques that you're doing now?
It is, I'm all about light as well. Like light is my favorite thing. I'm a big fan of a guy called Dr. Jack Kruse. I don't know if you've heard of him.
No.
He's all about physics.
Okay.
He thinks light is the most like dangerous thing. Blue light especially is like the most dangerous thing that we're exposed to through the eye. And that is my favorite thing. So that's removing blue light in the evening, making sure I expose myself to like natural daylight in the morning. It's a bit hard in London, so I've actually just started using my sad light, which is a shame being it's just like the middle of September, but it's reality. So
Yeah.
just exposing myself to sun. I'm big into grounding as well, grounding in nature. So either just like taking your shoes off and socks and just putting your feet into grass, or if you're lucky enough to live by the beach, to just put your feet into some sand or the sea, or just like living in a concrete jungle like I am, is having some grounding shoes or
Nice.
sandals. So just grounding yourself, I love that. And you actually just get like a electromagnetic charge,
Yeah.
which is what Dr. Jack Kruse talks about.
Currently
Um,
grounding
and
right now.
yeah, I mean, luckily I have like wooden floors, so
Yeah.
I can do it in my flat, just take my shoes off.
Yeah.
But people just like constantly don't expose their feet to the floor. Like they're either wearing slippers or socks on, or always got shoes or like some rubber sole on or something like that. So I'm big into that, and also like trying to limit my EMF exposure. So looking at Wi-Fi, making sure my Wi-Fi is off at night, making sure like my phone sometimes is in airplane mode if it's going to be like contacting my skin, stuff like that. That's the kind of like, they're not like crazy biohacks, like putting things up my nose or like like those wacky biohacks. It's just more like easy things to do and implement into your life. It's all about like making it sustainable, making it easy, and yeah, just for everyday hacks really.
Yeah, exactly. Now talk more about the light that you have. You call it the sad light. Is that what it is?
Yeah, so it's a satellite. So it just emits really bright light. I don't know what the frequency is. You just stand it up in your like in the room, and I'll be on like a I don't know what you call it out there, but a vibration platform. So I'll be shaking my lymphatic system, just get everything going. I might have a meditation going on, or I might be reading something, and there's me on the light. I've also, my friends at Red Light Rising have just sent me out a infrared light as well.
Okay, nice.
So I'm going to be experiencing that soon. Something similar to like the Juvie, if you heard what the Juvie is.
Yep.
Yeah. So some guys in the UK have set up a company. So they like, I'm gratefully they sent something out to me. So I'll be trying that soon, seeing how I get on with that.
What kind of benefit do you see? Why would someone use this light for the listeners that, you know, have never heard of kind of light therapy before?
Well, just being in the morning, that's the most optimal time that we really need to get light. So through the eyes as well. So we're constantly wearing sunglasses. So we're blocking every single light aspect coming into our eyes. So just exposing, it's really for like your melatonin production, which is a powerful antioxidant in the body. And so it's also your, like, as such as your pineal gland, which goes through your retina of your eye. It's basically like, they call it the third eye. And that's very important for many like functions in the body, your endocrine system. And that's the real benefits. And obviously like for vitamin D production as well.
Yeah. And it's big for, I mean, regulating, and this is what melatonin does, is kind of regulating your circadian rhythm, right? I think one of the big problems that right now anyway, is that, especially if you live in cities, and that is you always have blue light exposure, right? Whether it's your phone, your TV, the lights in your house, your laptop, you know, and people are usually in their bed with them on, and that sort of delays your body's kind of preparation to actually, you know, get to sleep and prepare to go to sleep and produce that melatonin. So I think playing around with light is a really, really important. It's not even, like you said, it's not even a biohack. It's just something that's almost a necessity now, because we're surrounded by so many different kinds of light, and really controlling when you get that light and when you have the lights off, I think is so important for our sleep and just overall longevity.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like common sense is not common anymore. Like putting your phone right in front of your face before you're trying to go to sleep is just obviously it's a recipe for like disaster. And it's the same thing with food. Like, you know, that pack of like candy is not going to do anything good for your body. It's just going to cause disruption. It's just common sense, really.
Yeah. What are some other biohack techniques that we can discuss?
Just doing little hacks with your food as well. Just looking at the way you cook your meat, making sure there's a good marinade. That's another good one. So using things like rosemary, oregano, a bit of apple cider vinegar, and a heat stable fat, something like avocado oil. Just giving it a quick marinade if you're going to cook some steak or some chicken or any vegetables, really, just to protect the meat from advanced glycation end products, which is a known carcinogen. Adding like in my, like I have a coffee now and then, and I like to add in rosemary. So I steep my coffee in some like bashed up rosemary, and that releases essential oil, rosmarinic acid, which has got some powerful anti-inflammatory properties as well, and also very like antimicrobial. Adding a little bit of MCT oil in there as well. I've just started including reishi mushroom extract and some lion's mane, very powerful immune properties. Increasing my plant sources, as like plant protein sources as well, trying to reduce my like animal products in my body. Just basic circadian fast as well, like we're going back onto circadian rhythm that comes in circadian fasting. So last meal of the day would be around like 8 o'clock, and then my next meal maybe will be like 8 o'clock in the morning. Like I don't religiously do it, but it's just something that's just naturally happened. I'm not stressing over about the times, or if it's a little bit later or if it's a little bit early. We don't want that stress. We want to remove all the stress that we can, and that's just another little bit of a hack. Not grazing or snacking during my in between meals. So having like my first meal of the day, then waiting till like midday for my other meal, just to give my digestive system a break. Like that would be not eating every 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
Going how I feel, like if I know like I need some carbs, and just being very intuitive with my food choices. Like when I need carbs, when I need more fat, when I need like, just listening to the body. That's the most powerful biohack tool that you can have, and it's absolutely free. It's just like, yeah, that's the biggest biohack that you can have, is just listening to your body.
I love that. That's perfect. I already see that as a quote coming out after this recording here. Have you experimented at all with sauna and like cold bath or cold showers or cryotherapy, that kind of stuff?
Yeah. Well, actually, I done cryotherapy 2 days ago in London Cryo. I've done it in the States as well.
Okay.
It's, to be honest with you, I don't find it that cold. Like,
no?
It's cold, obviously, but it's not freezing cold. I've done plunge, like ice cold plunge, like baths.
Yeah.
Coming straight from a sauna, so a Russian sauna, which is really intense heat, and going straight into an ice bath. I do that quite a lot. Well, I used to do that quite a lot, but I love being cold. I really enjoy being cold. Oh, yeah. I'll walk around with my sandals and shorts on most of the winter.
Can't do that here in Canada.
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously it's another level.
Yeah.
But the same thing, I love exposing my body to cold and heat as well. So I do have like a portable infrared sauna in my home. So now and then I use that a few times a week. I use a sauna in my gym as well, which is a different spectrum of sauna. But to really feel the benefit of the cold, I need to go to an ice bath, and it's actually much more psychological going into a plunge pool instead of going to a cryotherapy. Cryotherapy it's more in the exterior. When you go into the water, it's intense.
Yeah, it's a lot better. I haven't done cryotherapy, but I've tried, cold baths or ice baths, and then obviously cold showers. I do that quite a bit.
Yeah, they're refreshing for me.
They are.
What time of day do you do them?
So I usually do it I try to do it in the morning, because it's a good way to just sort of wake you up. I find if you can do, an ice bath or a cold shower, I guess, in the morning, and you can get through that, well, that's just going to lower your stress levels for the rest of the day, because that's probably going to be one of the more stressful things you're going to go through that day. Yeah. Right. So I love to do it in the morning. I like to do sauna after the gym. It just sort of increases a lot of the physiologic effects of exercise. So improving and increasing endorphins, it helps to improve testosterone, things like that. So, I like to hop in a sauna for a bit afterwards, and then kind of go back and forth, do some cold shower, sauna that. Yeah. That's mainly what I do. I have a good buddy who does a cold bath before bed every single night to cool himself down and lower his body temperature. I just can't seem to get myself to do it before bed, but he swears by it. He loves it.
Yeah, I think I had a cold shower yesterday. It sort of it did work, but then obviously it's cold, so it's going to awaken me as well.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And obviously when you go in the bathroom, there's a lot of light as well, so you're gonna have to go in with like your blue blocking glasses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know how effective that would be, but I agree. But like sauna after a session is really good for like your heat shock proteins.
Yeah.
Dr. Rhonda Patrick talks a lot about that as well.
Yeah, she's the one that introduced it to me as well. That's
Yeah.
where I learned it from. Now, okay, so let's backtrack a little bit here. We're kind of talking about all these different, sort of hacks, I guess, that you can do to help improve. And there's probably people listening right now that are going, I can't even get myself to go to the gym every single day, or, cook a meal every single day. So let's sort of tone it back a bit and talk about how someone can kind of build a foundation of health like this, how we can actually create, habits that make these things sort of natural. I know you teach this as an online health coach, and obviously you've done it yourself through your own health journey.
Yeah.
What's your, why don't you provide some tips sort of for creating habits? What's your sort of go-to?
So creating habits would be looking at like reflection first. So what can you improve? What can you do? Mm-hmm. That would probably be the best thing, because there'll be quick wins. Keeping it very basic. So when you see elaborate dishes or recipes or these sort of crazy biohacking stuff, or even the stuff that we touched on, you don't need to do that. It's just scaling it right back, prioritizing what's the most important thing that is achievable. So just sleep hygiene, like most people can like turn off a few lights in the evening, not look at their phone. That's probably an easy task. And that sleep improvement will make you function better the next day, to perform better, to be more efficient with your time, to think better, to make better decisions. So then you can make those better decisions when you're in store, when you're shopping or something like that. Food wise and recipes, same thing. Do what you can. So look at your kitchen, see what you can do. Have you got a slow cooker? Have you got a good stovetop? Have you got an oven? Looking at the foods you do enjoy and just keeping it really simple. So if you haven't got a lot of time to prepare food every single day, batch cooking a few meals at a single time on the weekends and freezing some. Just keeping quick recipes on hand, like zoodling some vegetables, and get a bone broth on the go, get some ground meat like in tomato sauce going, have some good kitchen staples, even just things like creating a shopping list, a grocery list, saves you time in shopping, to like wandering around seeing what's on offer. Just like go in, get out. They're just simple things like that.
I like the simple. I mean, simple wins is a huge thing that I think people don't recognize. Instead of, if your goal is to lose, let's say 25 pounds, or maybe you have a gut problem and your goal is to kind of get rid of that. I think, that takes time, right? It takes months and months to actually do that. And so what you really need to recognize is kind of what you touched on is those small little wins, and every win is kind of that momentum to continue, and to get to that next level. So I like to sort of break it down into, let's go, instead of a 3-month goal, just break it down into a week goal, right? Or even a day if you want, right? Achieve what you needed to that day, which is all those things you just touched on. Yeah. And really that's going to drive that momentum to allow you to get to a point where all those things just become natural to you, right?
Of course. And each of those wins that I was mentioning is all like, it's all a stress reliever as well. It's like, just like removing the stress. We don't want to be in a stress state. Like when the body's stressed, it won't get rid of parasites. It won't like sort your digestive issues out. It won't want to lose weight. Like losing weight or body fat is hard. The body does not want to do that. So the body needs to be happy. And like the nervous system is so important, whether you're in a sympathetic or parasympathetic state. And we can do our best to try and control that and give it the best ingredients, the best factors around that. And once the body finds homeostasis, then like the body will naturally like lose or improve like your digestion or things like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
And even like another simple trick would just be to make sure you eat your food sitting down and engage with your food. Turn your phone off, stop scrolling, sit down, use a fork and chew your food. Like people forget that, but yeah, it's so basic.
It's amazing because I think now we're at about 15 episodes in a row, I'm going to say at least, where the guest in the show has said that exact tip. It's pretty awesome. And it's funny because that's the one thing, I'm starting to really focus on it because every week I'm being told to do this. But it's crazy. And it's, different types. We have so many different people that come on the show and everyone has said that same tip, how important that is to just be mindful and chew your food and just sit there and actually eat rather than watching TV or scrolling or whatever it is. It's pretty amazing.
I mean, you could have the best diet or food in the world, but if your digestive system's not good, it doesn't really matter. Like if you're stressed, it does not matter. The body won't process these nutrients. It'd be stressed. It would just convert them to fat. So it's really just fine tuning these basic fundamentals, these basic principles, which are of course free. Like you don't need a supplement to chew your food. You don't need a supplement to be a little bit more mindful. You don't need any of things. It's just literally just improving these things, and the rest will follow, and having faith in it.
Now, when you're looking to change a habit, you know, whether you're trying to start eating healthy or get to the gym, do you sort of focus at changing one habit at a time? Do you, will you push a few out at the same time? How do you kind of maneuver through that?
In each section, I'll probably just do one at a time. So if it was like lifestyle, food, gym, I'll just do one at a time for a week.
Yeah. Reflect,
and then did it work? Yes. Okay. Then maybe increase something else. It's the same thing with food. If you're very sensitive to food, you don't want to be adding like this and that and that. You just want to be doing titrate up, and just know this, like just go slowly and actually appreciate you improving as well. Like give yourself a pat on the back for once.
Yeah.
Don't be so hard on yourself.
I like that. You need to appreciate those, like I said, you need to appreciate those wins, right? And that, when you do that, it's like you said, it lowers that stress, right? And when you realize that, okay, I've cooked every meal this week, that then starts to become less stressful for you, because at the beginning, that's probably a stressful thing. How am I going to find time to cook? How am I going to, how am I going to learn to do all this? And then after you've done it for, let's say, a week, I don't know, they say it takes 21 days for a habit to form. I don't know if you believe
I think it sounds nice.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It gives a goal or a timeline, I guess. But really, it's like you said, once it comes, it eventually just comes natural, and then it's no longer a stress to cook. It's just normal, and then you can focus on putting your stress towards something else until that becomes a habit, and it's sort of just, you continue to keep building, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so listen, I have one more question that I ask everyone that comes on the show. But before I do it, is there anything else that is, burning in your mind that you want to share with others? Is there anything that's really important for you that you want to get out before I ask the final question?
No, I'm all good.
No? Okay, perfect. So, you've been through a journey of a health journey, learning all this knowledge and getting all this information. Let's say you were to go back to square one, back to the beginning with, you lose all your knowledge, everything you know. What would be the one thing now that you would want to tell yourself if you were just getting started out with a health journey?
It'll probably be like, relax, trust the process, like let go. I spent many hours like on health forums, and especially when you are ill, you always want to know if it's this, if it's that, throwing in loads of supplements. It's actually just to like get back, relax, have faith in the process. Like when the body's happy, like I was saying, when the body is happy, it will release all these things. It'll release like toxins, it will release like bad bacteria. It's just like being relaxed and stress free. That's like the biggest thing that I would tell myself.
And it allows you to think clearer too. It allows you to sort of figure out the problem rather than just stress about it, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like otherwise you'll just be going around in circles and you'll never find the root cause. It's just like scale everything back, take time, and that would be it.
Awesome. All right. Well, listen, I really appreciate you coming on here. Keep doing what you're doing on Instagram, because, it's super informative. And I know you see comments and that of everyone learning so much from you. So continue to preach, and all the best, in your continued health journey and whatever else you do with everything you're currently doing in life. So, all the best to you. And thanks again for joining us.
Thank you, Carl.